Hello and welcome to an episode of Community Connections. I am your host, Anna Orr, and this is airing on OROMIA11. Today we are talking all things vision. That's right, we are here with Lions Kids Sight USA, and we are talking all things vision. To make sure that the scholar in your neighborhood is able to see clearly this school year, you're going to want to tune into this episode. I'm so excited to have you, Bill and Sherry, here talking about Lions Kids Sight USA today. Can you introduce yourselves and that of the organization that you represent here?
Sure. Well, I am Sherry Thurston. I'm a member of the Lions Club, and this is Bill.
I'm Bill Thurston, her husband, and we are co-directors for the Kids Sight program here in Hennepin County.
Can you do me a favor and just introduce basically what Lions Club is for people that may be unfamiliar with that before we even dive into the amazing work you're doing with Kids Sight?
Lions Club is basically a worldwide organization. It's the largest service organization in the world. We have 1.4 million members in over 200 countries, so it's international.
That's beautiful.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. And then, Bill, can you talk to us about what Kids Sight USA is?
Kids Sight USA is what started, and then we branched to MD5M5, the program which encompasses from the northern portion of Minnesota into Canada, Winnipeg, Manitoba, the entire state of Minnesota. We're divided into different districts, and we are MD5M, and the entire state is broken down into these different districts, and that's how we do the vision screening. So we have a lot of area to cover, and within Hennepin County we have 38 clubs, and of those 38 clubs we go in and we draw Lions that are interested in participating in this program, and that's basically how we do it.
The Kids Sight program basically is just the Lions Club's getting together to making sure that we can screen as many kids as we can to see if they have potential vision problems, and that they get treatment for these problems if necessary.
Now, this is important because we are currently in the month of September, which is, as we all know, back to school time
Right.
for kids across the country. And more times than not, kids are slipping through the cracks on receiving eye exams.
Exactly.
And so this is so important because 1 in 3 kids are suffering with a vision problem that can be corrected if it's caught prior to the age of 7.
Exactly.
Correct.
Can you talk to us about Kids Sight and how you guys actually do the screenings and things like that?
Sure. We are contacted either by a preschool or a daycare, or we go to a public event. But we set up a screening. We have a scanner. There's 2 kinds of scanners. We use a Welch Allen spot scanner. There's also a plus optic scanner. And what we do is every child needs a consent from a parent before we can scan them. Mm-hmm. But we have them come in, we have them sit down, and 3 feet or 1 meter away, we use the scanner, and the person, the lion, in this case Bill, would just point the scanner at a child, and within 5 to 7 seconds we can get a reading as to whether or not their eyes are normal, or if they could pick up that they're nearsighted or farsighted, that they have unequal pupil sizes, or possibly that they have strabismus or a refractive error, in which case is a symptom of a lazy eye. Lazy eye is also known as amblyopia in the medical field. That is a disease. Lazy eye is a disease that we really need to get before they reach the age of 6 or 7, because if it's not corrected by then, oftentimes it cannot be. So that's why our main focus is to get those little kids, although we will screen up to age 16 or grade 12.
Okay.
When we use the scanner, the child sees the blinking colored lights, and that's what we tell them to focus on. And there's no buttons. The camera automatically focuses in that they give us a parameter of 3 feet or 1 meter, and we just move in or move out, and the camera, when it's ready to go, it scans. The camera is designated in ages for parameters. As a child develops, the parameters change. So we have, it's very important for us to have the actual age of the child, because that's what the camera is geared to.
Once we get the reading, if it's a normal reading, it will come up in the scanner showing a blue thing. And we don't print, we can print that out, but we don't usually. We just tell the parent that everything is normal for their age group. If they find an abnormality, it will show red in our scanner, at which point we will then print out a copy of what we see, and it will tell us of what abnormality that they see, whether or not they have a nearsighted, farsighted. We print out a copy of that. We attach it to a form, a letter to the parent. We ask them to take that form, to take it to an eye care professional, just to show that this is what we've seen, that they need to just have it checked. Possibly it's nothing, possibly it's just something that they need to watch out for, or possibly there's some treatment needing.
Now talk to me about how you all got started in this work. Are you all in the background of vision and or optometry or ophthalmology prior to this?
Yes.
You both looked at each other.
Yeah, well, I'm a retired pediatric nurse.
Okay.
And children's health is a passion of mine. So after retirement, just at the same time that Kids Sight was coming into Minnesota, they were looking for people that would be interested, and of course I was. And I was director for a short time when they decided that each area needed to have 2 directors. And so I happened to know this grandpa that loved kids, and so voila, here he is. They get 2 for 1.
Now you guys said that you all are part of the Lions Club that serves Hennepin County. What is the outreach of that looking like, numbers wise per se, for you all doing Kids Sight?
Oh, we have done, I should have brought exact numbers, but I know that we alone in our district have done well over 6,000 children, and we're 7 years old. Of course, COVID entered in, so we had to stop screening for probably about 2 years. Preschools were the last institution that were letting guests in or visitors in, and we were considered a visitor.
Yeah.
So we had to start all over. Kind of, we were progressing nicely, and then had to stop, and then we had to kind of start over. But again, we're growing rapidly, and it's awesome.
Our district, we have 5 of these, and so we control the scheduling, make sure that people that are going to have an event have a machine that's available. And matter of fact, we're going to do screening tomorrow at a pancake breakfast.
Okay.
So kids love pancakes, so we'll be there. And it is just amazing how fast it is. And 6-month-old child, it's, well, how can you do that? And it's, well, put the baby up on your shoulder like you're going to burp them, and I'll just walk around behind. And there's no noise other than a chirping bird. We tell the children to listen for that, because they focus, and when they do, the pupil in the retina, not the retina, the iris opens up, and the camera then is allowed to, we use infrared, it shoots into the back of the eyeball and then back to the camera, and then it looks for the parameter for the age that we put in to the camera. So it's highly accurate. If we do find something, as Sherry said, we print it out, give it to the parent, and say, this is something to take to the eye doctor, and it gives them some place to start. Depending on the age of the child, it may be nothing, and they'll grow out of it, but you don't know. Most children think whatever they see is normal. And a lot of times, prior to the vision screening, I think teachers picked up on why is the child not doing well sitting in the back of the room, and they moved the child up closer to the blackboard, and now the child can see. So that's how it was being kind of utilized. but the camera does such a better job, and it is so fast. And when we go to schools and big events, we ask them to give us information on a jump drive, and we plug the jump drive right into the camera. It loads it, so when the child comes in and says, well, this is Mary Smith, Mary Smith comes up, and it's got the age and whether it's male or female, and we're finding that necessarily isn't really required. It's more of a record keeping type of thing, and but it still checks all of the different parameters, and the units themselves are not necessarily inexpensive. So we have a large population. That's why we have 5. Some of the bigger districts don't have that many, just based on how many children, in different areas where they have to move around in the district. Far north, for us, Hennepin County, it's close. Farther north, when you've got to drive 150 miles to get to an area, and we have Lions that do that because they're really invested in the program, and the children are our future, and they should be able to see.
Now, you were recently just sharing a story, Sherry, before we went on air, about parents that come back and talk to you about the reward of being able to get ahead of this and getting their children in glasses so that they can have a smoother school year. Can you talk a little bit about the nature of that, being out at the Great Minnesota Get Together?
Yes, that's probably the most heartwarming thing that we do, is that we get feedback from these parents. A parent will come. In fact, it happened several times this year. A parent will come back to us and said, we just wanted to return to the fair to tell you that we were here last year. We had a referral, and we took our child to the eye care professional, and he's now wearing glasses. And they were so appreciative because they had no idea. They just had no idea. He was just a normal little kid, and all of a sudden we are telling them that there might be something wrong with their vision.
You guys were out at the state fair every day?
A member of the Lions was there every single day, all 12 days of the fair.
And screening.
And screening.
Yes.
We would do that at 8 o'clock, and we'd leave at 8 o'clock. Our district had 2 days. We were there on Labor Day, and we were a day earlier in the fair. It was very hot this year, as you know. It was very hot, but it went well. We screened over 3,104 kids this year over the 12 days, and we had 350 referrals. So when you think about that, that's 350 kids that are going to be seen, hopefully, that their parents will follow through, that we might have corrected their vision. So,
now, for those that may be unfamiliar, how often are you supposed to get your child's vision checked?
we recommend that they come to see that they have some kind of a screening every year because their eyes do change. When they're in school, they always have to have a vision screening before they enter school. And I think the recommendation is to have them screened at grades 1, 3, 5, and 7, which oftentimes doesn't happen because of the shortage of nurses and healthcare or health aides. And that's oftentimes why we go in and we can help them out and do that. The other thing is it's free, doesn't cost anything, and we're readily available. So it's a great program.
Now, we've talked about you all being a part of the Lions Club and their mission around service around the world. Can you talk to me about your personal connection to this work? Now, I know you talked to me about you being a retired pediatric nurse, but can you talk to me about your connection to this work?
Well, our connection would be pretty much that the Lions have a core group. The whole Lions Club International has got a whole group of service areas that they follow. One is vision, of course. Then there's environment, there's hunger, there's diabetes, and there's childhood cancer. So those 5 pillars is what we work with, and of course in our case we zero in on vision. The Lions Club is over 100 years old. It's 102, I believe. We just had our 100th anniversary. It was formed in 1914, 1917, I believe, But we became very oriented into vision because Helen Keller came to them and asked them if they would take on vision and become, as she calls us, Knights of the Blind. So that's pretty much how we got our start. And as the years progressed, then the Kids Sight program is relatively new. It started around the late 1990s. Digital screeners came available. And around 2014, it became an official foundation. And in Minnesota, for us, it was in 2016 that we became a foundation as well.
You've talked about vision being one of the pillars of the Lions Club, and I was perusing the website and saw a little bit about Project See Clearly, and you are receiving an award around the work with Project See Clearly. Can you give us just a little bit about that as well?
Well, Project See Clearly, it's actually an annual, it's not a competition, but it's a program where you get credit for how many screenings you do, this kind of thing, and we were one of the top 10. Our multiple was one of the top 10 in the country for doing the number of screenings.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Shifting gears just a little bit, talk to me about how we stay connected to Kids Sight if we are not a member of the Lions Club, or if we're interested in joining you all out at an event to have a scholar or someone a part of our village screened. How would we do that?
A lot of it is word of mouth, of course.
Exposure.
We do have a Facebook page, and then there's websites. There's a Kids Sight USA website, which is larger and has a wealth of information because it is national. And then we've got a website for our multiple to MD5M.
Okay. And if we are interested in having you guys come out and screen at maybe a church or a preschool or something like that, how would we get in contact with you all to make sure that that takes place?
We can share our email addresses with you if you can share it on
We would
on the
love to
screen.
do that. We would love to do
And
that.
they can contact us. And if it's out of the Twin Cities area, we can get them in touch with the Lions that are in that area as well. But we'd be glad to give us our information. Looking forward to helping as many kids as we can.
Thank you so much. Bill, and if I could, I'll just have you look in this camera here and give one final message to somebody that is interested in being screened or having their child screened for vision issues and may feel a little hesitant.
Well, I believe that a number of parents they don't realize that what the child is seeing. They think it's normal, and it may not be normal. And without knowing, this makes it so much easier. And quickly, we went to a school, did 605 children in 2 days, and completed that, in 2 days. So it doesn't take a lot of time. The Lions motto is "We serve," and we certainly try, and we welcome being invited in, and we get the exposure at the fair of people going through, and because some people really don't know what Lions do. I'm amazed when someone says, well, who are the Lions? Well, I mean, we're worldwide, and a lot of people don't know about it. We're kind of like the best kept secret sometimes. But and we just have the passion for caring and helping. So I encourage parents, promote it, do it. With the Lions, it's free, and it takes such a short period of time to actually do the screening. We have a quick and easy way. We tap. There's different parameters for age groups. That brings the camera ready, and all we do is point it at the child's eyes, and it comes back with a reading, and it's that simple. I mean, it's quick, easy, and it is a medical device, so it's not something that we're confident that the information that it gives us is worthwhile to pass on to the parents and have them, with a referral, have their eyes checked by a eye care professional. So.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Bill and Sherry, for the work that you guys are doing, not only on behalf of the Lions, but out in the community and across the globe.
You are welcome.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for this episode of Community Connections. A very special thank you to Bill and Sherry Thurston and the Lions Club and Kids Sight USA team members across the globe. But a very special thank you to MDM5 for their work they are doing across the wonderful county of Hennepin County. Be sure to reach out to them if you want them to stop by and to scan the scholars in your neck of the woods. I am Anna Orr. This has been another episode of Community Connections, and I look forward to connecting again with you soon.